I got tired of doing the same thing over and over again. I got tired of hearing myself cry. I got tired of seeing my kids go through it. I just got fed up with myself and my environment and not being able to stay consistent and raise my family. And it's like you come to a point where it's like I was so selfish in my addiction and with my family that I just said, you know what, I'm done.
Hey guys, I'm here today in Hope365 studio with Joann,
Hello.
and we're going to hang out and talk for a while. This young lady has an awesome testimony, and God is good all the
Very
time.
good.
And we're going to talk about kind of walk through your life, and share some things with the audience here. We talk about here a lot of times at the rescue mission. In the Word of God, it says, by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of your testimony, you shall be an overcomer. And Joann loves telling people about what Jesus has done in her life. And she has a wonderful smile. So, Joann, let's kind of start out as Joann as a baby. Kind of just just a brief overview of your life. Being coming up as a baby as much as you remember, and where, when, how, kind of stuff.
Well, I was born in California, and when I was a baby, I moved to Shreveport. I really don't remember much of my childhood, but I know my grandparents pretty much raised me.
Did they?
My dad was there when I was growing up, but as I got older, I didn't see my dad anymore.
Didn't see him.
No, my mom was kind of, in and out of, she was real sick, so she really wasn't there like, she was supposed to be, but I love her.
Yeah.
And I kind of grew up kind of quick.
Did you?
So, yeah, I did. Just getting pregnant when I was young and stuff like that, so I really didn't enjoy, being a kid that much. But
Did your grandparents, did they have any other grandkids or anybody else that they raised, or was it just
it was
you at that time?
me and my sisters and my cousin.
Yeah.
So she took care of all of us, my grandma.
They had several of them. Good man. God bless grandmas.
I'm telling you.
So, what age was it about when you moved to Shreveport?
I was a baby. I don't even remember. I was like a baby.
Because I ask people all the time here at the rescue mission. They get here and they're from California or Washington or Florida. And I'm like, how in the world did you get to Shreveport, Louisiana? There's usually, if you wasn't born here like I was, there's a story behind getting to Shreveport. So tell me about Joann growing up, maybe getting into, I don't know how far you remember, elementary school, junior high school.
Elementary school, I loved it school. I was good at school. I took up band, and but as I got in middle school, I started, kind of fighting and stuff like that. So I really didn't be at school that much because I started fighting.
Yeah.
I was kind of, hard headed.
Do you think, and I kind of went through some of the same thing, and we see that a lot, here at the mission. Do you think it was like some aggravation, you know what I mean? Is that about the time you really didn't see your dad very much anymore?
It was just growing up, and my grandma kind of favored my sister a lot, so she got to do more than what we got to do, and we moved a lot when I was young, like from Longview to Shreveport, from Longview to Shreveport. So it was just like a lot of that stuff right there. And me not liking myself and getting pregnant young, and me just going through my battle with God and mad at God about everything. And it was just a real internal battle that I was going through.
Just going through an internal battle, and usually those internal battles wind up coming out in the public. So we're looking at junior high school or so, but you was in the band.
I was in the band.
Was you pretty good?
Yeah, I played the flute and I played the bass clarinet.
Yeah, come on, somebody.
I love music.
Yeah. So went to school, have a lot of friends in school?
Not so much.
Kind of stood out by yourself a little bit. And
I was popular though, but I didn't have friends.
yeah. I know a lot of times that happens, just kind of closing off, you know what I mean? And we learn now as an adult, we'll get to that later, but that you got to be open. You got to be able to talk to people, because if you kind of build that wall up, and I think that's what happens a lot to people who's went through different traumas in their life and different rejection or feeling rejection. A lot of times, like with your mom and your dad, and living with your grandparents, a lot of times might not even realize that there was like an internal rejection.
I had several walls built up. I had more than one wall. I had several walls.
And we've learned here, and you went through it in the Genesis process. We learned that as projected lies and survival lies. That you create these things within inside of you, especially as a kid, to protect yourself. You know what I mean? And you learn how to, build up certain walls and stuff like that, so that you won't get hurt anymore.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, and a lot of times they was correct, but then they wasn't correct. I mean, because let me, if you don't mind me asking, like with your grandmother and them, I mean, I know there was some partialism, like you said, you know what I mean. But as far as was she a good grandmother and loving and took care of, nurturing?
Took care of us, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of times, even if that wasn't a bad situation, because of and it would be natural, not having a mother or a father around all the time that felt like, hey, I mean, what did I do wrong? Or why didn't I have my parents? Or,
it's just me feeling like that. Even though I did good, it was never no, reward. It was never no good job. It was always just, the negative. Like I always say, I feel like the black sheep of my family, because it was always the negative they looked at. It wasn't never when I was doing good. It was just I was always wrong at doing something.
Yeah.
So it was like.
And so you grow up with that, and you get up into, through elementary school and junior high school, into high school?
No.
Just into junior high school and stuff. So did you wind up dropping out of school, or?
No, I got juvenile life.
Did you? Mm-hmm. And tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I was 14 and I got out before my 18th birthday. But it really changed me, because I went to a group home and I learned a lot about myself, expressing myself, my body language, kind of control my anger. So I'm thankful I took that journey, because it really saved my life. Because if I didn't go there, I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't get a chance to be able to express myself and learn about myself.
Yeah. Because, and I heard you say that earlier, because if you started getting in a lot of fights and stuff like that, and that's just kind of like lashing out or angering out. If you don't learn how to control that, that'll get you in a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble.
And so how long was that? How long?
15, like 4 years. I did like 4 years.
You did about 4 years. Is that somewhere here local, or?
Yeah, right at the Rutherford House.
Okay. Yeah, I heard a lot of good stuff about the Rutherford House. And so you get to 18 years old. Is that when I guess you kind of like aged out of the juvenile part, or what wound up happening?
Well, I got 18. I moved back home with my grandma, and I got me a little job. And then I got pregnant again when I was 19, so I started back, raising a family again. I got into a relationship that wasn't healthy for me, so I did that for like 3 years, maybe 3 or 2 years, and got out of that. Just really redoing the same cycles over and over and over and over and over again.
You was helping Einstein.
Explain his theory, huh?
Yeah. Insanity is all insanity. Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, we've all done that way too much. I laugh. It's not funny, but I laugh about my life sometimes, and when I look back on you, think, I mean, and the problem is, don't you think? One of the big things is when you're in the middle of it like that, you can't even see it.
You don't see it, so it's like it's all over at the end. It's like
it's just like a snowball. Mm-hmm. It's just one problem, one issue, one thing, and after the next, and just repeating the same thing. It's kind of like my spiritual pastor, father. You know what I mean? In Christ, you had as a saying, I have found the enemy and he be me. Mm-hmm. But when you're in the middle of it, you don't even see that you're your own worst enemy.
No, you don't, because it seemed normal. Like, it seemed normal to me in my mind. It was like, this normal, and I'm just going to adapt to it. Like, it's nothing wrong, but in the reality, it's a huge problem.
I think it also goes back to, we talked about it earlier in the Genesis process, when we looked at what we called a survival lie. I mean, once you get in if you've been told your whole life you're worthless, or you're gonna be just like your mom, or you'll never amount to anything, you're no good. Over time, you literally begin to believe that. That's called projected lies. It gets projected on you. You know what I mean? And then you get to the point, you know what I mean, to where people might tell you different, and then maybe you get in a bad relationship with a man, or and they begin to tell you things like that, and those things get projected on you. So then you begin to build up those survival lies. You're like, I'm not going to get hurt anymore. I'm not going to let myself get close to people like that anymore. I'm not going to open up to people, and what happens is, and I know it sounds like what happened in your life, I know in my own life is, then we start having these shallow relationships.
Isolation.
Yep.
I isolated myself and did all kind of things because I just didn't want to be heard. I got tired of being heard. I got tired of people saying. I got tired of not being me. It's just I lashed out. Wrong with expressing myself.
Yeah.
Healthy. I just lashed out and I just didn't care about nothing.
Don't you think we're at a place when we get there that the Bible says a house divided will fall, and that's the enemy. That's the devil's place to get us at, to where now we're divided with even people like your grandparents, and we're divided with relationships that we have kids with, and then we get divided with our kids, and because if he can get you divided, then he can get you to where you just said a while ago, he can get you isolated. And then when you get isolated, you get up in your own head. And
it's not a good place to be.
No, because we're the greatest at justifying. You know what I mean? That the whole world's after me, or the whole world's against me, or and sometimes that is true. We walk through things, but then another time we make them up in our own head. You know what I mean? Because it makes us feel better.
It make it seem like it's a reality, but it's really not. It's just, like you said, projected. It's not a reality. It's not what God says. It's just the reality that you're looking at right now. And I have to teach myself to don't get caught up in my mind or get caught up in my head, because that's not my reality. Like me putting everything into what I'm doing right now and changing myself is my reality.
I had a person that I mentored the other day was texting me some things, and I text back and said, "Quit thinking, just quit."
How you do that?
No, and then I met, but sometimes your mind, you get to thinking, and it keeps getting building, and you gotta say, just stop. You know what I mean? So, at what age do we think we're at right now? Okay, you got your second kid, raising a family, relationship has gone south.
Well, it's about time for me now. It was like time for me to move on. So I'm moving out that bad relationship. So I moved back to my grandma's house. It's a family house. We can go back to it. I moved back to my grandma's house.
Thank God for grandmothers. Again.
With my sisters, and stayed there for a little while. And I worked, and then I started having trouble in my mind. So I had to go, get some counseling and stuff like that. And I struggled in my mind, and so I had to go get some help for that right there.
Yeah.
So
you walk through that period. Tell me, you're in your 20s now, 30s, 20s?
I'm in my late 20s.
Your late 20s now, and just things progressively getting worse. Did you, in that whole period, we really didn't talk anything as far as drugs, alcohol, anything like that? Experiment much in that realm?
Yeah, well, I first started off smoking weed, and then when I got out of there, I started doing ecstasy, and then I started doing cocaine, then I started doing other drugs. I left one drug to get back on another drug.
Right.
And then pretty much after I started that, addiction just kind of like took control over everything I even wanted to do, thought about doing, and everything I had, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I just lived in my addiction.
So don't you think, and we talk about that a lot here at the mission, and of course there's millions of people that's struggling with the same thing. That's a coping method. You know what I mean? I mean, once you kind of get to a life of despair, you've tried just about everything else. Relationships don't work out. Having jobs, doing this, doing that, having things and stuff like that don't work out. I mean, we wind up wanting, and really, and I'm not going to jump ahead too far, but really what we're looking for is happiness.
Exactly.
We're wanting to belong. We're wanting to be part of something because that's the way we was created. And so we experiment with drugs and stuff, and unfortunately, with drugs, alcohol and drugs is for a brief moment you can find that euphoria or like, oh, I can relax,
But it don't last.
no, it don't. And it's that proverbial like chasing the next high or chasing the next. And unfortunately, with drugs, like you said, you hop from one drug to the next drug to the next drug, and a lot of times that's because after a short period or a long period, that drug just don't do it.
Don't do it, no.
It don't do it anymore. So you got to go try to find something else, and you got to go find something else. And so that's why, and I know a lot of people say that marijuana or pot is not a gateway drug. Maybe not in the chemical addiction part, but it's still a chemical because it's in our body. But what happens is after smoking pot, you know what I mean. You think, okay, I'm going to experiment with something different.
Something
You know
different.
what
I want to feel something else.
because I'm not feeling like I did when I first started, And so we wind up progressing through drugs and getting worse and worse. And unfortunately, the further down the list you get with drugs or up the list, whichever way you want to call it, they're more addicting.
They is.
And now we got problems.
Big problems.
Because we get to a place, you're in your mid to late 30s now, 20s, right? 2 kids?
2 kids.
Uh,
No, 3.
You got 3 kids now?
Yeah, I had 3. We got 3 kids now.
Okay. You got 3 kids now, bouncing back and forth to grandma's house,
Job from job.
job to job, drugs,
Abuse. and
bad
just-
relationships, walking through abusive, I'm assuming physical and mental and verbal and
all of the above.
and everything. So that is a bad combination,
It is.
and certainly as a lady has to make you feel less and less wanted, needed, and because as women, and we'll talk about that here just a little bit more here in just a little bit, but as women created by God, and this is what you discovered now, and being a child of God and then a daughter of the Most High, you start discovering who you really are and how much you should be needed and the way you should be taken care of and the way you should be talking to. But all that was I think you've discovered, I know you've discovered that now, that was innately in your DNA. You didn't know it because of your past with your mom and your dad and living with your grandparents and the disorder and all that. So that didn't get like nurtured in you.
No, I was just in like survival mode. It was just I gotta survive.
But it was still inside there. You might not have, you didn't really know what you was looking for, but you knew, tell me I'm correct, you knew you was looking for something. So you found it in bad relationships, or you thought you found it, that you look for it in bad relationships. You look for it in drugs and alcohol. You even look for it in isolating yourself. I imagine, and I'll ask, because a lot of times people, they look for it in the party scene. They can't find it in the party scene. They look for it in the isolation. They can't find it in the isolation. They look for it with this man and this relationship and this drug and that drug. And it's like, well, the message I had the other night, not of this world, and C.S. Lewis says something along the lines that, if you've searched your whole life to fulfill a urge that you have inside of you, and you search the whole world and you couldn't find it, then probably the reality is it's not in this world.
That's true.
And it's God. You know what I mean? And that's what we've discovered. So you get to a place, okay? And, things are spinning out of control more and more. Tell tell us a little bit about Joann getting to the place to needing the Shreveport-Bossier Rescue Mission?
I got tired of doing the same thing over and over again. I got tired of hearing myself cry. I got tired of seeing my kids go through it. I just got fed up with myself and my environment and not being able to stay consistent and raise my family. And it's like you come to a point where it's like I was so selfish in my addiction and with my family that I just said, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with everything and
Which is not always a bad place to be.
no.
Because the prodigal son, he had to get done before he come home.
Before we came home.
Yeah, he did. So it's very unfortunate. You know, I tell people all the time here at the Rescue Mission, okay, and you went through our 1-year New Beginnings program. You're in the transition program right now. Got a job. We're going to get to that. I got to hold back a little bit. And but normally you don't get to the rescue mission unless you pretty much burn a lot of bridges. You've walked a long journey in life, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, made a lot of bad decisions, and people's made bad decisions for you. Because like with your life, and we see that a lot here with your mom and your dad, and then grandparents, and then relationships with guys that treated you bad. It's not all your decisions, you know what I mean? Some of them was made, and you wish they wouldn't have been made, you know what I mean? But you ball all them up. And it generally, people, when they get here to the rescue mission, that's generally the somewhat of a track that they've been on. So you show up. Did you hear about the rescue mission, or you just like?
I was here previous before I came again. I was here for a short while previous before then.
Right. So you knew kind of about our long-term program, and so you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming you's like, I gotta hit the pause button.
I gotta stop. Some in me gonna have to stop and know that I can't do this by myself.
There's it's an old comedian. I think it's Jerry Clyre, old comedian, Cajun comedian, and he's up in the tree like, I don't know, they was trying to get a coon out of a tree or something like that. It was coon hunting at nighttime, and he starts screaming. He said, it was a bobcat up there, you know what I mean? He's screaming, shoot up in there, and they say, we might shoot you. They talking in Cajun, you know. He says, wow, you know, he says, shoot up in here, because one of us has got to have some relief, you know what I mean? So he got to a point to where, you know, it didn't matter if you shot me, at least it's going to knock me out the tree.
Something's going to have to change.
So unfortunately, a lot of us, including myself, had to get to a place to where, like, there's got to be a drastic change. And we a lot of times call that the proverbial bottom of the barrel. Could be, biblically, could be the pig pen, like the prodigal son, you know what I mean? And, so you come here, the last time when you came here, you know, through this, did you join the New Beginnings program immediately?
I think I had got a job.
Got a job, and kind of worked the job a little bit, and just tell me, I mean, through circumstances, did you kind of think, you know, hey, I might need to, did you feel like you might just peel back off and go back to the same old?
You talking about now or?
No, when you got a job before you joined the New Beginnings program.
This time?
Yeah.
Did I feel like I was going to do what now?
Did you got a job, you came, you know, before you joined the New Beginnings program, you say you got a job first, right? No,
that was the last time I was here. I had got a job. This time, I didn't know what I was going to do when I first got here, so I had thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. I was like, I'm going to go to work. I said, then one day I just went in the office and said, no, I'm going to join the New Beginnings program. I'm going to
take the leap.
I'm going to take it.
Take the leap. And it's a big leap, so that you guys know it's a 1-year program. It's a 1-year, we call it the New Beginnings program, and it's a discipleship program. And the reality is, a lot of people are like, oh my God, that's a long time, 1 year. Well, how old was you then?
I was 36.
You was 36 years old, and this is what I tell people all the time. How long you been doing what you've been doing?
All my life.
Yeah. So in reality, and we're going to share some of this in our Hope 365 studio, some of our teaching about what we've learned here and the type of teaching that we do here. Because a lot of people just say, "Why don't you just stop?" But after you've been doing this for so long and you got all these hurts, you got all this these built-up walls, you have all these things in your life. You know what I mean? It's just not that easy.
It's not.
You know, we talk a lot about the limbic system in the Genesis. That's our automatic sensing system. And after you do something over and over and over, you get good at it. Unfortunately, after you do bad habits over and over and over, you get good at them, which is a bad thing. And so that takes some time to unpack that, you know, and discover it, and especially if you came from a dysfunctional family, you know. I'm assuming, you know, like with me, I didn't know my biological father. I'm assuming with the situation with your dad that you never really knew what it meant to be nurtured as a daughter.
Yeah, I just knew he was there, like, as I was, like, in my younger days, as I was growing up, but I don't really remember much, so.
So that's like missing in your life, you know what I mean? What it means to be a daughter. And I mean like you know, we're talking like a biblical daughter, or, you know, to have a good earthly father. And when that's missing in your life, then you go looking for that sometimes in relationships with men, and then you find all the bad relationships that you wind up finding, and it really distorts your view on relationships.
You do.
That especially relationships with men equal negative. You know, if my father's relationship wasn't good, and then men's relationship wasn't good, then it becomes negative, and that's a process here. My wife is the director of the Women and Children's program here, and she and Miss LaMonica and the teachers and stuff here walk through this relationship, and that takes some time to unpack.
You do.
That takes some time to get healing in a lot of areas, some time to learn a lot of things, that you are not who the world says you are. You're not who you assumed you was because of relationships, mothers and fathers and grandparents and other family members. You know what I mean? And you're certainly not who you are, who God's, you know, who you are, who God says you are. You know what I mean? And that takes a long time to discover that, because you got to walk through that whole period. So. And I know I'm putting a lot of words in your mouth. Tell us about, in the audience, you know what I mean, about the journey here at the Rescue Mission and the New Beginnings program.
So when I first got here, I didn't have I felt like I didn't have my own mind. I couldn't express myself. Everything just was turned upside down, and so I joined the program. Then I slowly started expressing myself and stuff like that, but as I got, you know, further in the process and Genesis process, I opened up more, because it made me feel so appreciated, and to have somebody actually sit down and just talk to me and listen to me and not judge me and not think what I was saying was crazy or it wasn't true, and just to have that support. Just to have the support that I had is just amazing to me, and I'm so grateful, because I don't have that support system in my life, and just opening up about my past and things I thought I, you know, forgot about, or things that maybe I think wasn't, you know, was big, and to just be able to express myself and still feel like somebody, it helped me so much. And it's just amazing when you just come from nothing, and then when you find out that you is something, regardless if you came from nothing or not, that you still something. It's an amazing feeling, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, nothing else. The feeling I have right now, and I just want to keep working towards that feeling and working towards that feeling and working towards that feeling with God, because He don't know what can fulfill my life. And I'm at the point now, it's just like, I don't want to go to old. I want to just be recreated. I want to be renewed. I don't want to go to nothing that I used to be doing, because it's draining.
And that takes, you know, what we talked about, like with the limbic system and the way we're made. I mean, that don't happen overnight. I mean, God can now, like in my life and probably in your life and my wife's life. I mean, there was some things he instantly took away, but there was other things. It's taken a journey. You know, the Christian life or the believer's life is a journey to walk out things and, you know, walk out your salvation and stuff. So that's what I know for myself, getting to see, you know, working with the men here and everything. I mean, I see somewhat of that, but I really see it with the ladies. When ladies begin to see their self-worth because they've been beat down through bad relationships and bad situations. And they, as you ladies begin to blossom, you know what I mean, and start seeing who Christ says that you are, and that you are loved, and that you do have people that love you, and you have mentors, and you have sisters in Christ, and you know what I mean, just to watch that transformation in you guys. I got to tell you, man, I mean, I got one of the most blessed jobs in the world to you know, work for the Lord, but then to see these things happen, because you just can't. Look, people argue all the time about the Word of God. They argue about different translations. They argue about what denomination church you go to. You know what I mean? You can argue about a lot of things, but you can't argue about this. You can't argue about this testimony. You can't argue about that smile on your face, and you just can't argue with that. You know what I mean?
To be a part of your own life, like when life got taken, like I feel like when life got taken from me, but to be back a part of my own life and aware of my own life, it's so amazing. Yeah, it truly is.
And I know a little bit about it through this journey. You've been able to connect back with your kids. You know what I mean, and God's a repairer. You know what I mean, and to, you know, start repairing things, and we know that's going to be a, you know, everything don't happen exactly overnight like we want it to, but repairing things and putting that back together. So you walked this journey, went through the New Beginnings program, graduated.
Yep.
And it has been a blessing to. If I come in here some days, you know, and had a bad day, I almost felt like in my spirit, let me go hang around Joann just for a little bit, because I could see the smile on her face, you know what I mean? And it was like, okay, it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. So did, you know, a lot of different vocational training stuff here and everything. And you graduated, and Joann, tell us, you know, kind of where, so you graduated, went in
great day.
what we call the transition program. When people graduate from here, we don't just say deuces, you know what I mean? You got to go. They go in transition period and look for a job. So I don't want to spill the beans too much, but through some relationships from here at the rescue mission, you got a job. Tell everybody.
So I got a CNA job, and I went to school, and then now I'm working as a CNA. I'm very excited about that because I like my job, because I get to, you know, work around people, and it's been a long time since I've been able to, you know, be on my own 2 feet and to have a good job. So I'm very excited about that. I go to work very excited every day.
I want to give a shout out to Harmony House.
Yes, thank you, Harmony House.
Absolutely. We've worked with them for years, and a lot of times we got guys, men and women that was with us that live there now, and then ladies that's went through the New Beginnings program, work there now. You know what I mean? And so you went over there, put out several different applications. We called some people in, you know, and went over there, and it was a blessing because they had this CNA program, right?
It really is.
And you can literally go. Tell me if I'm wrong. You went to work, making money.
Yeah.
And trained and went through the school. And I think you kind of graduated kind of to the top there
Yeah,
a
I
little
did.
bit. Didn't you? The top of her class.
Very excited, very excited. Yup.
So you're CNA now, and I think they're trying to poke you and prod you a little bit, ain't they? To
Going
even
to nursing school.
yes. So you're still living with us in the transition program. You know what I mean? Going to work there, and you're a CNA now. You know, tell our donors, man. We're 100% Christ-centered mission guys, and we're 69 years old right now. This is 2024. I'm gonna date the podcast. It'll be dated anyway. But we're 69 years old, and we're 100% Christ-centered mission. We couldn't do what we do without you guys, and it's only through your support that we're able to offer the hope to the Joanns and all the different people. And man, you can't, how you put a number on a life with Christ, salvation, you know what I mean? How you put a number on this smile? You can't put a number on that smile. So tell everybody, you know what I mean, how you see your future, what you're kind of thinking about, and just give a shout out to them.
Thank you to all the donors for making this journey for me very, very, very exciting and fulfilling. I'm so grateful of the mission, for all the donors, for all the support and everything that y'all contribute to the purpose of changing lives and getting to know God is so exciting. I'm so grateful for what y'all do.
Absolutely.
And I see my future. I see myself fulfilled.
Yeah.
And to God's purpose and just continue my journey and to get stronger in my faith and hopefully one day I can help other people also, through my journey, my testimony. That's the main thing I want to do is help somebody else come out the dark.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We know that will happen 100%. You know what I mean? And we're excited. So you guys know, we've got 11 different programs here at the Rescue Mission. We will always have an emergency shelter. And then we have the all the way up to 1-year programs, and but we do life with each other, Even one day, Joann saves up her money, gets her own place. You know what I mean? We still have programs to where we stay connected, because life, God intended for us to do life with each other. You know what I mean? And He intended us to do life. With each other, not just short term, hey, how you doing? See you later type stuff. And so the ladies here, I know my wife and LaMonica and the different ladies here, you've got an awesome relationship with them.
I'm so thankful for everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, and you get to pour into other people, and we get to tell people, man, when they come in and they're all bum, we say, look at that smile right there. You want that smile? And they're like, yeah, I need that smile. Well, let me tell you how you get it. You get it with Jesus.
Okay, that's the only way.
So we want to thank you guys so much for being part of this.
Thank you.
We got a saying here, changing our cities one life at a time. And this is one life that has changed. And she is a missionary to the world because she's a world changer now. And through Christ, she's already made a big difference and going to continue making a big difference. So thank you guys so much. Check back with us. Keep checking back. We're going to have different podcasts coming out. And like I said, we're about changing our cities one life at a time. And we could not do it without you. And God bless you. And that's it. That's a wrap, girl.
That's it.